introduce myself. I'm Karen Fernandez, and I'm the Director of Quality Life Services. And Mayor Santos was kind enough to let me come on tonight to kind of give you a little background and to let you know what our little group is doing. So I'll just walk you through a real quick presentation, and then you can ask some questions about what our goals are, what our mission is. Thank you. So our mission in part is that we really just want to provide some education to residents on topics that would enhance the quality of life. And quality of life is a pretty broad term, and we left it that way for a purpose. We want to be able to show different things and not be pigeonholed into one area. So just give you a little introduction. We were formed just in January of 2008. We are open to all residents, whether they're owners of property or they're renters of property. We are a sub-program of Healthy San Leandro, which you may be aware of. They are currently getting their status as a nonprofit organization, which is why we decided to partner with them, because in the future, when we need to pay for things like rooms and speakers and whatnot, we would be able to ask for donations, and that would be a tax write-off. At this point, we're just paying for it on our own. So we don't want to be associated or have to take money from special interest or come to the city or whatnot. So we wanted to do that. And just to tell you about myself, because you're probably wondering, you know, who the heck is Karen and what makes her qualified to do this or think she is. One of the qualifications is that I do have my BS in business management. I do have my master's in teaching and learning with technology. I've been a project manager for years and a corporate trainer. I've also done a lot of volunteer work in leadership positions, and I have a very strong passion for my community that I want to be able to help the residents here. So let me tell you a little bit about quality of life. What is it really about? We're really about seminars. We're really about training. We're really about putting programs out there so that people can learn about different topics. Right now, we're very concentrated on crime and crime prevention. That was a very hot topic in January. It's kind of cooled off a little bit, but it's still there. And residents still need to learn how to deal with it and what to do for themselves and how they can help the police as well so that things can be cleaned up or they can feel a little bit safer. So our seminars are held consistently the third Thursday of every month at the San Leandro Main Library in the trustee room at 6:30 prompt. And we run until about 8:30 if it's a really long program, otherwise we can stop a little early. And every resident is welcome to come to any of our seminars. They are free to all residents. So what have we done so far? In February, we had a citywide meeting at the main library where Lieutenant Mark Decalode came, and we just opened it up to all residents. What is it that you want to talk about? It was an open discussion. They were able to ask any question they wanted, bring up the issues that they felt that they had and they wanted to have addressed. And then in March, we had another meeting where we said, okay, here are the top 5 issues that you guys talked about. What can we do? What are some of the solutions? How can we move forward? We also talked about the San Leandro Neighborhood Watch program and how can we get the fire burning under that a little bit more. It's there, people are involved, but it doesn't seem to be spread out as much as we would like to see it. So we talked about that. Then in April, we had our very first seminar, which was conducted by Al Lorenzo. He is the owner of Lorenzo Security, and he works in Oakland. And he really gave us some really great tips about nuisance abatement, and what do you do when you have somebody living next to you that's a drug dealer, or perhaps they park their car on the lawn all the time, or they're just doing something that is just not appropriate. How do you deal with that? So we got some really great tips about documenting it, calling the police, how to deal with it, anonymously, so that you keep yourself out of danger. And finally, if need be, there is a resource of using small claims court to put a little pressure on an owner of a property. Because if you hit the pocket where the money is, that seems to talk sometimes. So we had some really great tips. It was a really good meeting. Then this month, our second seminar was from Jason Moreno. He is a former Oakland police officer. Again, some really valuable, and I'm actually going to show you a little bit of his presentation, but very, very valuable information about if you witness a crime or you're assaulted, you're a part of a crime, what can you do to help the police so that you can identify. So what I'd like to do now is kind of take you through that. But this is what we've done so far in the 4 months that we've been together. So a sample of the one that we had, if you look at this, some of the things that you want to look at is the gender, male, female, the age. You don't have to necessarily say, oh, they're 32. But you can say, oh, you know what, it was a teenager, or it was a senior citizen, or whatever, something that will kind of narrow it down. Because if you think about it, when you're talking to the police and you're saying, hey, here's what the suspect looks like, when they first come there, they have this pool of people that's this big. It's all the residents. It's anybody who could come through the city. So how do we narrow that down? Well, we tell them that it's a male, so it gets smaller. We tell them that it's a male that's maybe 40 to 50, so it gets a little smaller. It's a male with short hair, red hair. You can see with every identifying mark that we give them, that pool starts to shrink. So now we've helped the police, instead of looking through 1 million people, we've narrowed it down to maybe 1,000 or whatever. And so that's very helpful to them. Some of the tips that we got was what to look for. Do they have hair on their face, any kind of facial hair, any tattoos? Look at their clothing, pants, blue, brown, shirt. Any of these things are very helpful. And it's not that you have to remember all of those things, but any number of those things, 2 or 3 of them. Because quite frankly, if we all saw the same crime happening, we would give different descriptions of the person and of what happened. But if they're able to collect that information, there's going to be some things that are going to be the same or similar, and that's going to help them. So again, it's just narrowing the pool of suspects down is what the biggest tip was, and how to do that. It was a very helpful seminar, which we plan on expanding and giving more in the future. So what's our next step? As quality of life services, our next step is to increase resident awareness. We've been around for 4 months. We have people that come to our seminars, but we really want to expand that out. We also want to continue to arrange for future seminars. So right now, those are the 2 things that we're working on to do. In June, our topics is going to be identity theft. We're all aware of it. It happens to us. How can we protect ourselves? What can we do? So that will be the topic in June, again, the 3rd Thursday of the month, main library, trustee room at 6:30. And our contact information, it's very easy, slcitizens@gmail.com. And the phone number, if anybody would like to call and get any information. And that's my presentation to tell you what quality of life services are. We're basically here just to provide some seminars to help residents feel a little bit more comfortable. Do you have any questions?
Anybody got anything to say? No, I think that was a very good presentation. I want to thank you for bringing it to us, and maybe some members of the council or even myself will show up when time will allow.
You're welcome anytime. Thank you.
Good to know. Thank you.